We've looked at the country itself. Now we're going to focus on the conflict. The drug traffic in and through Mexico has been around for many years. So what has caused the escalation is the question. The simplest answer is the warring drug cartels and corruption. A cartel is an association of manufacturers or suppliers that maintain prices at a high level and restrict competition. To find the origin of escalation, we must look at the crackdown of Colombia's cocaine transport made by law enforcement. This escalation caused the drug suppliers to seek easier, alternate routes for transportation. Enter the Mexican cartels with established routes. This slide illustrates the various drugs. We see cocaine traffic from Colombia, ephedra traffic from China, marijuana traffic which originates in Mexico, and so on. This gives you a picture of the drug routes as of 2008. It also gives an idea of the main entry points into the United States. Here we see the main territorial areas of each major cartel. It's important to take note of the white areas on the map, as it is in these disputed areas and territories that much of the violence occurs. The source of conflict has become not only the drug routes, but the territory itself. There are 9 major cartels, and of those 2, the predominant and most violent are the Los Zetas and the Sinaloa cartels. The Sinaloa cartel is led by a Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, Mexico's most wanted drug trafficker, and his estimated net worth is about $1 billion US. The Sinaloa cartel fought the Juarez cartel in a long and bloody battle for control over drug trafficking routes in and around a northern city. This single battle, resulted in defeat for the Juarez cartel, but not before taking the lives of somewhere between 5,000 and 12,000 people. As of May 2010, numerous reports by both Mexican and U.S. media claim that this cartel has infiltrated the Mexican federal government and military and colluded with it to destroy the other cartels. The Los Zetas gained power by their leader hiring corrupt former elite military soldiers and forming essentially a private army. This cartel is notorious for targeting civilians and is responsible for such acts as the 2010 and 2011 San Fernando massacre. 2010 involved 72 civilians murdered, and 2011 the discovery of mass graves of 193 corpses that were the direct result of the Los Zetas being suspicious that these people were being recruited by a rival cartel to be gang members. Those bodies that have been identified were mostly civilians trying to move to a better life. The Zetas involved themselves in more than drug trafficking, and they have also been connected to human trafficking, pipeline trafficked oil theft, extortion, and trading pirated CDs. Their criminal network is said to reach far from Mexico, including into Central America, the United States, and Europe. Los Zetas uses the internet and media to spread most of their propaganda and to glorify their lifestyle. They post numerous YouTube videos of assassinations, torture scenes, and interrogations, and although these posts are quickly taken down, most of them are likely to be seen and reposted somewhere else. One method that's used to recruit smugglers, the cartels post help wanted posters throughout the city and run ads in the classified section of newspapers, asking for help with a small errand of driving a car to California to serve an important business organization. The drivers are usually unaware that they're smuggling drugs hidden in the car. Even if the job seems suspicious, the ad respondents follow simple instructions for a quick payment of about $500. Cartels also recruit what's called straw buyers. Straw buyers are individuals that don't have prior criminal records and can buy weapons from licensed dealers. Some buyers are housewives, mothers, cousins, kids, elderly, and any families that are less suspicious. They're typically paid $100 a weapon or more. Brookings narcotics experts estimate that as much as 40 to 50% of the Mexican population works in the informal, if not illegal, economy. Officials estimate that the drug trade makes up 3 to 4% of Mexico's $1.5 trillion annual gross domestic product and employ at least 500,000 people. Another matter are threats. These cartels don't just make threats of violence, they carry them out. They use such things as psychological warfare because either through coercion or scare tactics, they influence their targets' perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors. The violence includes everything from beheadings, kidnappings, assassinations, bombings, and grenades. Many of the dead found showed signs of torture, such as their hands tied behind their back and being set on fire. Bodies are often found dumped along the road or in mass graves. Cartels also use bribes and extortion as a means to keep their business running. Give them money and protection or face death. Kidnappings have become an extortion scheme, and cartels can charge such thing as a war tax within their territory, and if you can't pay or won't pay the tax, a family member is kidnapped until they have been paid. The cartel's most targeted group, journalists, have been influenced by sheer fear. In 2008, 95 journalists were attacked, 28 killed, 8 missing, and dozens threatened. To look at the guns, research shows that weapons and arms trafficked in Mexico from gun dealers in the United States. February 2008, William Hoover, Assistant Director for Field Operations of ATF, testified before the U.S. Congress that over 90% of the firearms that have either been recovered in or interdicted in transport to Mexico originated from various sources within the United States. Although, as we've seen earlier, violence between drug cartels has been occurring long before the war began, December 2006, newly elected President Felipe Calderón sent 6,500 federal troops to a state to end the drug violence. As you can see, this first action escalated up until, as of 2011, Mexico's military had captured 11,544 people who were believed to have been involved with cartels. But really what his war on drugs has done is to dramatically increase the number of murders. Mexican cartels advance their operations in part by corrupting or intimidating law enforcement officials. Oftentimes, the Mexican municipal, state, and federal governments officials, along with the police forces, work with the cartels in an organized network of corruption. Why? The police typically earn less than teachers or burrito vendors, and therefore they are easily bought. While the Calderón administration has attempted to fight not only the drug cartels, but the government's own internal corruption. Still, public officials, even though they may be arrested, are rarely, if ever, convicted. To summarize this portion of our presentation, this quote from the Human Rights Watch report of 2011 paints the picture. This dramatic surge in violence has been driven in large part by the struggle between and within powerful cartels to control the drug trade and other lucrative illicit businesses such as human trafficking. These groups have committed serious crimes against one another as well as against members of the security forces. Their illegal activities have also touched virtually every sphere of public life, from extortions of small businesses to blockades of major highways, from closure of schools to nighttime curfews, from mass kidnappings to assassinations of public officials. They have used public displays of violence, from depositing severed heads in town squares to hanging mutilated bodies from overpasses, to sow terror not only among their rivals, but also within the general population. The impact on Mexican society has been profound.